Let's call the meeting of the House Finance Environmental Conservation Subcommittee to order. Let the record reflect that it is 11:19 a.m. on Thursday, February 6, 2020. Present today are Representative Hopkins, Representative Lincoln, Representative Sponholz, Representative Zelkowski, Representative Rauscher, and Representative Pruitt, and myself, Representative Ortiz. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone, please, to silence your phones. I also would like to remind everyone that while the microphones don't amplify sound in the room, they do help for the folks watching online to be sure to speak into them. Today, the subcommittee will only be considering the governor's budget action items. At our next meeting, we will take up subcommittee member amendments. With us today from the department is Ruth Kostick, and from the Legislative Finance is Michael Partlow, to help us answer any questions the committee may have. So how today will work: if a member would like a budget action item to be considered before the committee, they will affirm the motion to move the budget action item. If moved, the budget action item will be debated and voted on. If there's no motion, then the item is lost. If members would like to alter one of the governor's items, they should draft an amendment for next Thursday's meeting. The amendment should be drafted to reflect today's actions. Okay, any questions as we go forward?
One quick question.
Yes, Representative Rauscher.
Thank you. To the chair. If you wanted to put an amendment for, say, A or B of a line item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Right.
could you put in an amendment for just that line item? I mean, that A or B part of the line item?
Brief at ease.
You know, like
We're back on the record. So, the first budget action item before the subcommittee is to delete an accountant for position. Is there a motion to accept?
I move item number 1.
Okay, Representative has moved item number 1, Representative Hopkins. We need to take a vote. No, just moved. It's just moved. Okay, there's no objection, so we can keep going. It has been moved, and there's been no objection, so item number 1 has been adopted. Item number 2 is to replace the CPV EC funds used for shellfish testing with general funds and program receipts.
I'll move item number 2, unless there's another motion.
Item number 2 has been moved.
I object.
Okay. There's been an objection. Could we take a vote? Oh, before we take a vote, is there discussion?
Well, sure. I think that we heard that there's concern about the legality, and we've heard this before, about the legality of using the commercial vessel compliance fees for this particular program. So I think based on that, we should take the recommendation of the department.
Thanks. Okay. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing, hearing none, may we Have a roll call.
Representative Hopkins?
No.
Representative Sponholz?
No.
Representative Lincoln?
No.
Representative Zolkowski?
No.
Representative Fields is absent. Representative Rauscher?
No.
Representative Pruitt?
Yes.
Representative Ortez?
No.
6 yeas, 1 nay. It's been
6 nays, 1.
6 nays, 1 yay.
Okay.
It's been rejected.
Okay. With a vote of 6 nays and 1 yay, item number 2 fails. Item number 3 is to eliminate the dairy program. Is there a motion? Hearing none, item number 3 fails to move forward. Item number 4 is to add interagency receipt authorities to support transparent budgeting of the emergency responses in the Division of Spill Prevention and Response. Is there a motion to move the item?
I move item number 4.
Item number 4 has been moved. Any objection? No objection. Item number 4 has been adopted. Item number 5 is to reduce the authority to align with anticipated revenue and expenditures within the Division of Spill Prevention and Response. Before I call for a motion on this, I would like to bring forward, I think, Mr. Partlow, and see if he can explain a little bit more about this particular item.
For the record, Michael Parlow with Ledge Finance. I hate to call a lifeline right now, but I think Ruth Kostick may be the best person to
Okay.
answer the technicalities
All
of
right.
this.
Ms. Costick?
For the record, Ruth Kostick, Acting Administrative Services Director for the Department of Environmental Conservation. Do you have a specific question?
Just tell me the specific impact of this if we adopt this particular motion.
Absolutely. Mr. Chairman, this particular item will reduce prevention account authority in the Division of Spill Prevention and Response by $643,500 and eliminate 7 positions. Those 7 positions support the Class 2 facility program, which will be eliminated entirely. That's just a registration and technical support program. It will reduce capacity in the training and
Guidance.
guidance, thank you, program in the prevention, preparedness, and response section. And it will reduce capacity in the contaminated sites program, and it will reduce administrative capacity.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah. There was a discussion in subcommittee about the concerns of the fund's long-term sustainability. Will this make the fund sustainable, or will this simply help?
Through the chair, Representative Hopkins, it will just help the problem. It will not solve the problem completely.
Follow.
Follow up.
Has the department done projections about how much longer it would sustain the fund?
Through the chair, Representative Hopkins, yes. The fund projection that was included in our presentation on Tuesday, that projection did reflect this change. So the current projections with this change still has us running short as early as fiscal year 24.
Okay, thank you.
And that date would be moved up to some level if we do not adopt this. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Representative Sponholz.
Thank you. Through the chair, so this would be eliminating positions that do provide, I guess, training and technical support around Class 2 facilities. Could you describe what the Class 2 facilities again for us? And what our partnership is with the federal government in this area?
Absolutely. Through the chair, Representative Sponholz. So Class 2 storage facilities are onshore storage facilities that have a total fuel storage capacity between 1,000 and 420,000 gallons of non-crude oil. And they're primarily tank farms that are not attached to a larger facility. The EPA is the primary regulator of these tank farms. They require this size of tank farms does not under state statute require a contingency plan because they're small enough so they're lower risk. EPA does require some spill prevention control and countermeasure plans with them, and EPA is the one who would review those plans with them and inspect them when they can. And then anywhere where these facilities are near the water or on navigable waters, Coast Guard also will look at where there's a connection where a tanker might be offloading fuel into them. So they're doing that regulation piece of it. DEC is not regulating these facilities at all. We were just registering them and providing that technical assistance.
Okay. I have another question.
Oh,
On the positions eliminated in the training and guidance unit, that's preparedness and response. With the positions being eliminated, will the department be able to provide the same level of service with the reduction in positions?
Representative Sponholz, through the chair, they're the same. There's less capacity. We're asking them to do more with less, essentially. So it might not get as many trainings in a year as we would have, or these staff also helped work on regulations review and projects in the division. So some of that might take a little bit longer, but the amount of work that we're asking them to do is not changing.
But follow up. It sounds like there'd be less responsiveness and less proactive work, and so maybe the same amount of work wouldn't actually be done.
Through the chair, Representative Sponholz, most likely. These positions have been vacant for a while, so in the current year, that work is not that capacity isn't currently there at the moment.
Follow
follow-up.
So are you actually recruiting for those positions right now, or are they not being recruited for because they were being slated for elimination, and so why would you recruit?
Through the chair, that second, they're not being recruited for because they're going to be eliminated, proposed to be eliminated.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions about this particular item? Seeing or hearing none, is there a motion to move item number 5?
Yeah, I'll move item number 5.
Object.
Okay, there's an objection. So, roll call vote. Any discussion before we vote?
Got enough.
Okay.
Representative Hopkins?
No.
Representative Sponholz?
No.
Representative Lincoln?
No.
Representative Zolkowski?
No.
Representative Fields is absent. Representative Rauscher?
Yes.
Representative Pruitt?
Yes.
Representative Ortez?
No.
Okay. So 2 yeas, 5 nays.
Okay, so with a vote of 2 yeas and 5 nays, motion, or item number 5 fails to move forward. Item number 6 is to add federal receipt authority for the Alaska Pollutant Discharge Elimination Systems Permitting and Compliance Program. Is there a motion to move item number 6?
Mr. Chair, I move item number 6.
Chair, can I have someone speak to that? Can she speak to that?
Sure. Let's go ahead and,
Jeff for discussion.
yeah.
Oh, so Jeff for suggestion, I'm sorry.
Through the chairman, Representative Rauscher, the APDS program, the EPA has been doing inspections on the department's behalf in recent years, and we received, as a result, a low mark in our recent statewide review of the program by EPA. The Legislative Budget and Audit Committee approved an RPL just in December that added federal authority to fund 4 positions and some additional travel in the current fiscal year, and this transaction would just put that into the base budget going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, discussion? Representative, do you maintain your objection?
No, I withdraw my objection.
Okay. Any further objections? Hearing none, item number 6 has been adopted. Moving forward, item number 7 is to replace UGF with CPVEC funds in the Division of Water Quality for the regulation of wastewater in port communities. And is there a motion to move item number 7?
Yeah, I'll move number 7.
Item number 7 has been moved, and the chair will object for the purposes of discussion. And again, Ms. Costick, could you come forward, please? So, if I'm correct in my understanding, this motion, if adopted, would replace UGF funding for the Division of Water Quality with CPV funds. Pretty clear, okay. Has there been any concern, has there been any research into the legality of making that move?
Mr. Chairman, the department has not gotten a legal opinion specifically. There has been no concerns expressed on that. Looking at the use, as far as the direct impact of cruise, 2 cruise ship passengers are using the facilities. You can draw a straight line there between the cruise ship passengers and the impacts on the facilities. So we don't see any conflict there.
Okay. And would the passage of this item or the adoption of this item be necessary in order for the department to move forward their initiative that deals with this particular area? Don't they have a bill that the commissioner talked a little bit about?
Mr. Chairman, this budget transaction is not related to the bill. One is not
Okay.
necessarily rely on the other one to happen.
Okay. Can you tell me about the projected financial impact on the fund balance of CPV funds if we were to adopt this particular motion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have the fund projection with me today. There is a significant balance in that account right now, particularly because we are continuing to collect the Ocean Ranger fee and not making that $3.5 million expenditure this year. So there is no concern right now of fund sufficiency anytime in the near future.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Brief at ease. Ah, the chair would like to recognize Representative Fields has joined us this morning. Good morning.
Thanks.
So, there is a motion to adopt, and I have objected, and I will maintain my objection. And so could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yeah,
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'll speak to it.
Okay.
So obviously, I mean, I think that we've heard, this is money that can be used for this, and I think it's a great opportunity to be able to use this money to ensure that we've got, good wastewater coming out of our port communities. I mean, we heard the other day what we require from our cruise ships and what we require from some of the communities that they're in are night and day different. I think this is exactly what we should be doing with this money, is improving what we're putting into our own waters. Again, back to that fingers pointing back at us. So I don't know why we wouldn't try to clean up our own waters. So that's why I think this is a good one. So thanks.
Representative Sponholz.
Yeah, thank you. I think that there are some questions about the legality of this fund source for this particular topic. While we do need to be regulating wastewater in port communities, frankly, we're already obligated to regulate the wastewater in those communities. That has nothing to do with the fact that they are a port community, is the fact that we regulate all water in exiting our communities, and that we need to do a little bit of research regarding the potential legal issues around this fund source, and that we could potentially consider, after we've had a chance to do some more investigation, we could consider an amendment in a future future finance subcommittee hearing if we are to, in fact, get some guidance that that's an appropriate use of the fund. The second question that I'll just call to mind is that we need to do a little research into whether there's enough fund to use these vessel funds for both this purpose and for the Ocean Rangers program, which continues to be some controversy about. So I want to do some research, and until then, I'm going to vote against this. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Fields.
Thank you. I guess I share the goal of supporting onshore treatment, and State Affairs is trying to work with DEC on an update to the Ocean Ranger program that includes consideration of supporting onshore treatment in addition to monitoring on the vessels. And I do think it's important, like my colleague said, to fully vet that legally, just so we don't inadvertently appropriate for something that would be impermissible. But I certainly support the intent and hope that in working with the administration we can do both. So I'll be voting no for now, but with the goal of ultimately doing both through a revision of the statute.
Any further comment? And the chair will, of course, point out that it's not like if we would reject this motion that the activities would not happen. They are happening, would continue to happen. They would just be happening with the use of UGF rather than CPV, EC funds. So the regulation process has been and will continue to happen in any event. So with that, if there's no further discussion, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Representative Hopkins?
No.
Representative Sponholz?
No.
Representative Lincoln?
No.
Representative Zulkowski?
No.
Representative Fields?
No.
Representative Rauscher?
Yes.
Representative Pruitt?
Yes.
Representative Ortez?
No.
2 yeas, 6 nays.
So with a vote of 2 yeas and 6 nays, item number 7 fails to move forward. I believe that leads us to a conclusion. I would like to thank Ms. Kostick and Mr. Partlow for your assistance today. Thanks to you all, committee members as well. And as a reminder, amendments are due to my office by tomorrow at noon. Our next subcommittee meeting will be Thursday, February 13th at 11:15 a.m. right here in room 17. We will be considering any amendments from the committee members and approving the narrative report. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 11:46.